I'd like to invite up our seniors and the adult members of our congregation who will be speaking on their behalf. Seniors, as you embark on this next phase of your journey, we want you to remember that no matter where you find yourselves, you will always be a part of this community of faith. You will always have a home here. And the spirit of abundant welcome, unconditional love, and justice for all that you have learned from this place and brought to this place will go with you. So today we recognize our seniors, and we have a class of 4 this year. You see 2 represented. Ben Bushnell was recognized 2 weeks ago, as he is at the state Frisbee tournament today. And we're recognizing Nick Berg in absentia because he has already started his summer job with the Conservation Corps. And so representing the group today, we have Sam Gerteis and Grace Keller-Long. We'll hear from adults who have known these seniors and watched them grow over the years. And then I'll offer a blessing and gift. And Mike, we'll have you start off.
Well, good morning, everyone. I thought I stepped into Target with all the red today, but Nick Berg, the Bergs and the Vento families kind of came together probably, 15 years ago or so. Really got to know each other up at Clearwater Forest when our kids were wee lads, and spent a lot of time up there in the winters, sledding, skiing, hiking, playing games, whatnot. And I started to get to know Nick a little bit then. And then as fate would have it, being a scouter, I was involved in Boy Scouts. Nick eventually joined Troop 90 over at Emmanuel Lutheran Church, and came over with a bunch of other youth from the French Immersion School in St. Paul. And what was kind of unique about that, these kids, of course, had their own language they could speak. So as adult leaders, we were kind of in the dark a little bit. So that was an interesting thing. But he was kind of a little timid as a youngster, and really outgrew that over the years. Matter of fact, he became an Eagle Scout 2 years ago, which was a very proud moment for all of us. And it was also interesting to watch him kind of pursue different things. Even in junior high, he was volunteering at Como Zoo for 2 summers, helping with the aminals. And it was kind of fun to watch him do that. And then, of course, there were the summer camping trips with the Scouts as well. I remember a couple summers where we were up at Tomahawk Scout Camp up near Rice Lake, in particular, where there are things that happened up there that we just won't discuss here. But and then again, back up, I want to say 2 years ago, we all still were going with our families up to Clearwater. And that was really cool because these kids were pretty much pretty tied at the seams there, because they kept wanting to come back, and I thought that was really cool. So Ben Bushnell was included in that, and it turned into, well, we apologize if we kept you up, but there were games of Risk that went on until 3 in the morning. So there was a little world domination stuff going on there. But the big thing with Nick was, I do recall that he went on a 50-mile trek across Isle Royale, and I wasn't on the same team as him, but we kind of crisscrossed paths. And I really think he changed quite a bit after that trip. As a matter of fact, he joined the Minnesota Youth Civilian Conservation Corps. So he was spotted at friends of mine that saw him working at Afton State Park. And he had another 4-week stint up in Isle Royale last year. So that really changed him. As mentioned by Corinne, he has already accepted a job. He's a youth staff member with the Minnesota Youth Civilian Conservation Corps. Not certain where he's headed to right now, but I'm sure he'll enjoy himself. And this summer, he has accepted a position or going to college at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, pursuing a degree in, I can never remember, I wrote it down here. Biosystems Engineering in the School of Food, Agriculture, and Natural Science. He's working towards a goal of a more sustainable agriculture system in the United States. So, pretty ambitious young man, and I look forward to following him for years to come.
Thank you. I'm Leah Schaefer. I was invited by Grace to speak for her. I was really honored to be asked. Even by the standards of our place, Grace is an exceptional student. That's the first thing you need to know. I just found out that even though she's finished her high school career, she's going to keep going to school anyway. Nobody does that. She's on her way in the fall to Bowdoin College in Maine. I wanted to also talk a little bit about how we became friends at Mission Trip. I first observed her closely on a beach in New Jersey, where we all talk about each other at the end as a prayer partner. And she showed up with prepared remarks in a notebook. And it was wonderful, but the point of the story is nobody does that. I can't, I wanted to honor that practice by preparing better, but it's not the way I do things. And so I mentioned I was going to speak for Grace today, and a friend of mine says, well, that one will be easy. And I thought it was a great challenge, because though I really tried, I couldn't find any dirt at all. It's just not the kind of person Grace is. As I think about this a little bit, what comes to mind for me is a verse from Micah. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? And that's what I think about when I think back to where Grace and I worked. That was last summer. We were in a homeless shelter on the north side of Chicago. The budget crunch in Illinois had taken $400,000 out of its annual budget. They had to, among other things, they had to cut the cleaning budget. So as a group of youth, we went in there and cleaned all day the main facility for dining, and it was a mess. And one of the big innovations is we found out we could take a plastic picnic fork and clean the gunk off the edges of the table. And this is what Grace later had to write about. She wrote about it. This was surprisingly a lot of fun. We played some contact, we used wheat, a conversation starter that Corinne introduced to us, and it was very satisfying to see the changes to the furniture as we moved across the room. It's too late at night to come up with a resounding, coherent conclusion to this jumble of thoughts. I'd just like to say that it felt good to do a day's work for an organization in place that does good work. So amen to that. Thank you, Grace.
Good morning. My name's Lauren Dickinson, and I have the privilege to speak on behalf of Sam, who incidentally is also continuing to go to school. Made the decision to keep going as well.
Who does that?
So Sam has some great background and experience outdoors. Last summer, he spent the summer up in the Arctic Circle and has really dove into that passion for himself, and so next year he'll be going to Vermont, where he'll be studying forestry, which is very exciting. I think that's a great continuation of the skills that he's been developing over the years. The other piece that's exciting to me about this is Sam has really been a leader for us in the past year at the youth group in doing the research and coming up with a lot of the information for us for this year's mission trip. So we're going to North Carolina in a week, and we'll be spending a week doing trail cleanup and various other work outdoors. It's the first environmental mission trip focus that we have, and Sam was a true leader in putting that together and getting us all prepared to go and do that. I've only known Sam for 2 years, so it's kind of fun to be able to think about what I've seen of him over the last 2 years. And I think we first connected because he was a swimmer at Central, and I was a swimmer at Central back in the day, and so I found that as a point of of entry into conversation with Sam. But over the course of the 2 years, it's really been wonderful to learn other things about him. Certainly his passion for being outdoors and forestry and that mission that he brings to things, but also his passion for politics and equity and diversity and all of those things that he brings. This is the first year that we've started a senior coffee and conversation experience during sort of that Sunday school moment for senior hires, and Sam has been a regular attender there, and it's been fun for me to have someone who is so passionate to bring some of his insights and experience to the conversation. Sam can certainly be opinionated and what I've appreciated about him is the experience and the perspective that he's brought to all of these conversations, and so I'm excited to see what you do next, Sam, and I think you've brought a wonderful open mind to the conversations that we've had, and I encourage you to continue to bring that open mind to all that you do, the passion for everything that you have to what you do, and I can't wait to see how Vermont turns out for you.
Stick around for just 1 minute. Okay, I'd like to invite the adult representatives to place a hand on the shoulder of the senior that you're representing today, imaginary Nick. And everyone else, if you want to reach a hand forward so you can be part of this blessing too. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and to turn their pain to joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in the world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done, to bring justice and kindness to all the world's children. Amen.